tensions within the royal family have reached a peak, and this time, it's Prince William who is taking a firm stand. In a move that reportedly shocked palace insiders, he has removed Queen Camilla from participating in his late mother Princess Diana's cherished charity awards. Was this a subtle act of rebellion or a clear, heartfelt message honoring Diana's legacy? Beneath the polished public image and formal appearances, a deepening divide is surfacing. What triggered such a bold move, and what does it signal about the delicate state of the monarchy? The answer lies in a powerful and emotional revelation. It began with the BBC interview scandal. In June 2021, global attention turned to Buckingham Palace. A major development had just unfolded, one that reopened old wounds. The BBC publicly acknowledged the findings of an investigation led by Lord Dyson, revealing disturbing truths. It came out that Princess Diana's landmark 1995 Panorama interview had been secured through deceit, fabricated documents, manipulation, and lies. Diana had been misled by BBC journalists into participating in an interview that would become one of the most iconic and controversial moments in royal history. This long-buried truth shocked the public. Not long after, Prince William made a rare appearance before cameras outside Kensington Palace. His expression was grave, reflecting pain and deep emotion. As he addressed the media, his voice was composed but carried a strong undercurrent of feeling. He confirmed that it was right for the BBC to acknowledge Lord Dyson's report but stressed the gravity of what had been done. BBC employees lied and used fake documents to get the interview with my mother, he said with steady, yet weighty words. His message echoed far and wide, from the streets of London to television screens and online platforms around the world. For William, this was far more than a media controversy, it was profoundly personal. The loss of his mother remains a painful part of his life, and now he was forced to confront one of the darkest moments from her past all over again. He spoke candidly about Diana's suffering, not only from relentless media scrutiny but also from the betrayal she experienced behind the scenes. The deceit used to gain her trust left lasting emotional scars on her and on the family as a whole. The moment William spoke out, the media erupted. Discussions about Princess Diana flooded headlines, her warmth, her struggles, her untimely death, and the harsh treatment she endured in her final years. William's words weren't just a critique, and they were a vow. He would not allow anyone to tarnish his mother's memory again. His statement went beyond the BBC. It expressed years of grief, frustration, and discontent over the way Diana's life story had been retold, often unfairly or without empathy. Typically, the royal family avoids emotional public statements, favoring quiet dignity. But this time was different. Even Queen Elizabeth was reportedly troubled by the revelations. Prince Charles remained silent, perhaps recognizing the complexity of the situation. As the weeks passed, the controversy persisted, sparking global conversations. William's reaction to the Dyson report made one thing abundantly clear: the emotional pain within the royal family had not healed. Decades later, Diana's story still stirred powerful emotions, and her legacy was far from settled. Between 2021 and 2024, William took measured but meaningful steps to safeguard his mother's legacy. He deepened his involvement with the Diana Award, a foundation created to honor young people making a difference, inspired by Diana's compassion and humanitarian work. But this was not a matter of duty for William. It was deeply personal. He was determined to ensure that his mother would be remembered truthfully and with the respect she deserved. As preparations for the upcoming Diana Awards ceremony began, planning quietly unfolded within the palace. Royal events traditionally follow strict guidelines, but this time, William took a more deliberate and personal approach. Every decision, particularly regarding who would attend, was carefully considered. He wanted the event to be a genuine reflection of Diana's spirit, uncompromised and undistracted. This meant avoiding anything, or anyone, who could shift the focus away from her memory. As planning continued, one name repeatedly surfaced: Camilla, Duchess of Cornwall. Her relationship with Diana had long been a source of emotional complexity. Their history was fraught with tension and heartbreak, wounds that were deeply felt by both William and Harry as they grew up. Despite Camilla's current status in the royal family, the painful past she shared with Diana could not be easily set aside. For William, it remained a deeply emotional issue. As the event drew near, William appeared increasingly resolute in his mission to keep the spotlight solely on his mother. Quiet changes began behind the scenes. Guest lists were revised, seating arrangements adjusted, and traditional elements subtly altered. It soon became apparent that Camilla might not be included. The decision, if made, would break with royal convention and risk causing internal upheaval, but William seemed ready to face those consequences. He was choosing to defend his mother's memory in the most meaningful way he could. The anticipation and speculation grew. Would it be appropriate for Camilla to attend a ceremony dedicated to honoring Diana? Would William follow through with such a bold move? And if he did, how far-reaching would the repercussions be? Now let's focus on the heart of the matter, Prince William and the Diana Award. For William, the Diana Award is much more than an annual celebration. It's not just a royal duty or ceremonial engagement. It's a deeply heartfelt tribute to his mother's legacy. Established in 1999, just 2 years after Diana's tragic passing, the award has become a respected institution across the UK. Its mission is to recognize and celebrate young people around the world who embody the qualities Diana stood for: a compassion, kindness, and a drive to make the world a better place. Each year, the event holds special meaning for those inspired by Diana's humanitarian work. Young honors are acknowledged for remarkable efforts, fighting bullying, helping their communities, advocating for mental health, and protecting the environment. Over the years, the Diana Award has grown in prominence, drawing attention from global leaders, charitable organizations, and the wider public. But to Prince William, the award is more than just a platform. It's a way to preserve and promote his mother's spirit in a meaningful, lasting way. Insiders say William is deeply involved in every aspect of the ceremony. He doesn't simply attend, he prepares meticulously. He reads the nominees' stories, understands their efforts, and connects with their passion and resilience, much like Diana once did when she met those in need. In the lead-up to the December 2024 Diana Awards, Kensington Palace was filled with a quiet intensity. William and his team devoted hours to reviewing each nominee's background. Sources close to the palace revealed he was profoundly moved by the strength and heart of these young leaders. To William, they represented his mother's values living on in today's world. But something else added to the emotional weight of this year's event, something that made William more determined than ever to ensure the ceremony honored Diana exactly as she deserved. New revelations had emerged about how the BBC had misled Princess Diana during her iconic interview in the 1990s. This painful reminder stirred deep emotions in Prince William, making him even more determined to protect her memory. His sense of responsibility to preserve her legacy with honor and integrity grew stronger. As a result, William approached the planning of the 2024 Diana Awards with great care, especially when it came to the guest list. In past years, invitations were extended across the royal family to reflect unity in remembering Diana. Even Camilla, now widely accepted as the Duchess of Cornwall, had quietly attended the ceremonies in a discreet and respectful manner. Given her complicated history with Diana, her appearances were always carefully managed. However, in 2024, things were different. Palace insiders noted a noticeable reluctance to include Camilla on the guest list. William took it upon himself to personally review each invitation, determined to prevent anything that might detract from the award's message or create emotional unease. The scandal surrounding the BBC served as a powerful reminder of how vivid Diana's memory remained for William. Although Camilla had spent years earning public approval, her link to Diana's suffering was impossible to overlook. For William, this was about far more than royal protocol, it was about preserving his mother's dignity. By November, speculation was mounting that Camilla might not be attending the ceremony. The palace remained silent publicly, but internally, discussions were tense. William maintained a respectful yet firm stance. He wanted the focus to stay solely on his mother, her values, and the young honors. Excluding Camilla was a significant and emotional choice, one that had not been made before. But for William, it was a necessary one. He wasn't trying to cause controversy, but rather to protect the spirit of the event. Quietly, staff began adjusting seating plans, guest arrangements, and formalities to reflect the decision. It became clear that William was embracing a new chapter of leadership, one driven less by tradition and more by emotional authenticity. As the 25th annual Diana Award approached, media and royal observers watched with anticipation. Would Camilla's absence be confirmed? Would it establish a new approach for royal events? Or would a last-minute compromise change everything? The story of Camilla and Princess Diana is not simply about two women, it's a narrative that deeply affected the royal family and left lasting emotional scars on Prince William. Entwined by love, betrayal, and heartbreak, their story reshaped the monarchy and left personal wounds that continue to influence royal decisions to this day. Long before Diana entered the picture, Prince Charles had already formed a strong bond with Camilla in the early 1970s. Their relationship was romantic, but when Charles left to serve in the Navy, Camilla married Andrew Parker Bowles in 1973. Although they went on with separate lives, their emotional connection quietly endured, hidden from the public eye. When Lady Diana Spencer married Prince Charles in 1981, she believed she was entering a fairy tale. To the outside world, it looked like a dream, young royalty, destined for greatness. But the reality inside the palace was much more painful. Diana gradually realized that Charles's heart had never fully been hers, part of it still belonged to Camilla. By the 1980s, the cracks in Charles and Diana's marriage became harder to conceal. Despite public appearances of a happy family, Diana was suffering. She knew Camilla remained a presence in her husband's life. Though she tried to remain composed and fulfill her royal duties, the emotional toll was severe. In 1989, during a birthday party hosted by Camilla's sister Annabelle Elliott, Diana arrived unexpectedly. That night, she made a bold decision, to confront Camilla. With her bodyguard Ken Worf observing discreetly, Diana told Camilla she was aware of the affair. She said, "Please don't treat me like an idiot. I know what's going on." Camilla, unfazed, replied, "You have two wonderful boys." The response left Diana feeling even more isolated, but it marked a turning point where she stood up for herself and voiced the truth. The early 1990s were filled with emotional struggle for Diana. She remained in a marriage where love had faded, and by 1992, the couple officially separated. The royal family tried to keep the matter quiet, but the emotional damage was undeniable, affecting not just Diana, but also her sons William and Harry. In 1995, Diana chose to speak out in her famous Panorama interview. She candidly shared the pain of her marriage, shocking the world with the line, "There were three of us in this marriage, so it was a bit crowded." That moment became iconic, placing Camilla at the center of the heartbreak. For a 13-year-old William, seeing his mother so vulnerable on national television was devastating. It wasn't just the media frenzy, it was the agony of watching the person he loved most fall apart. That experience left a lasting impact on him. From then on, William became deeply protective of Diana's memory. He quietly vowed to ensure her story was respected and never misrepresented. In 1997, when Diana tragically died in a car crash in Paris, William was only 15. The sudden loss shattered him. It shaped his views on trust, love, and family, and intensified his commitment to safeguarding his mother's legacy. Years later, in 2005, Prince Charles married Camilla. Over time, public acceptance of her grew, but for William, healing was more complicated. Outwardly, he remained polite and dutiful. Inwardly, the emotional wounds persisted. He remembered his mother's pain and the role Camilla played in it. Accepting her wasn't simply a matter of protocol, it meant confronting unresolved grief. By late 2024, as preparations for the Diana Awards moved forward, William had grown into his royal responsibilities. He was more confident, more deliberate, but the pain from his past still lingered. The BBC revelations reopened those wounds, reigniting his protective instincts. This renewed his resolve to ensure the ceremony honored Diana with sincerity, unclouded by controversy. from his perspective, allowing Camilla to attend the 25th anniversary of an award dedicated to his mother risked diluting its meaning. He wanted the event to be a pure tribute, free from emotional distraction. Opening old wounds, both publicly and personally, was a real possibility. William's careful and thoughtful decisions regarding the guest list went beyond mere royal protocol. They were a means to protect Diana's legacy, ensure emotional authenticity, and create space for personal healing. As the event drew nearer, William's resolve only strengthened. He recognized that the decision about whether Camilla would attend wasn't just a formality, it carried significant symbolic weight. This choice was not only about reconciling with his own past but also had the potential to redefine his relationship with other senior royals. Those around him could sense his quiet determination, knowing that William had already made up his mind. For him, the Diana Award was something pure, untouched by controversy. Honoring his mother meant making sure nothing or no one could overshadow her memory. But would William make an official statement about Camilla's absence? And if so, how would the palace handle this unprecedented decision? As the 25th annual Diana Awards ceremony began, there was palpable excitement in the air. Journalists, royal watchers, and the public eagerly awaited not only the announcement of the honors but also insight into what was happening behind closed doors in the royal family. Prince William, with his meticulous planning, had ensured that every detail was perfectly aligned to pay tribute to his mother's legacy. Beyond the speeches, smiles, and formalities, there was a quiet tension in the room that would soon become evident. William's careful preparations demonstrated his deep commitment to the ceremony and to his mother's memory. Photos of Diana, selected by William himself, adorned the space, capturing her warmth, compassion, and dedication to helping others. Every element of the event, from the seating arrangements for the young honors to the emotional video tributes, was designed to emphasize Diana's lasting humanitarian impact. Yet, the most striking thing about the event wasn't who was present but who was missing. As the guests arrived, members of the royal family were welcomed warmly by event organizers. William and his wife Catherine, the Princess of Wales, greeted the young honors with calm sincerity. Prince Harry, absent due to his own family commitments, sent heartfelt messages of support. King Charles observed quietly, fully aware of the delicate nature of the day. But one absence stood out: Camilla, the Duchess of Cornwall. Her absence quickly sparked whispers and became the subject of much attention. It became clear to those familiar with William's careful planning that her absence was intentional. Prince William had chosen not to invite Camilla to this deeply significant event honoring his mother. Though he never publicly addressed it, this unspoken decision spoke volumes about William's emotional stance toward his mother's complex past. By excluding Camilla, William made a powerful statement. Some wounds, particularly those connected to his mother's legacy, were too personal to be overlooked. Despite the media storm, Buckingham Palace chose not to comment on Camilla's absence. Instead, they focused on the significance of the Diana Awards ceremony itself. However, this silence only fueled more speculation. Privately, sources close to the palace acknowledged that William's decision had caused discomfort. Camilla's absence was especially notable, given her growing influence within the monarchy. Reactions within royal circles were mixed. Some saw it as a respectful boundary set by William, motivated by his love for his mother and his desire to protect her memory. Others worried it might stir old family conflicts at a sensitive time for the monarchy. Nevertheless, William remained calm and resolute. Those close to him described him as fully aware of the impact his decision would have, both within the royal family and in the public eye. To William, this was not about creating conflict. It was about being emotionally honest. By excluding Camilla, he made it clear that his mother's legacy needed to remain untainted by any lingering controversies. During the ceremony, William honored the young recipients with warmth and sincerity, highlighting their courage, kindness, and leadership. His speech focused on his mother's compassion and her commitment to creating meaningful change in the world. This message resonated deeply with the audience, both those present at the event and the millions watching worldwide. It was a clear reminder that Diana's values, which were so central to William's personal identity, would continue to guide his vision for the monarchy's future. After the ceremony, media commentators analyzed every aspect of William's tribute to his mother. While they praised his emotional authenticity, Camilla's absence remained a focal point of discussion. In the weeks that followed, royal experts debated the deeper implications of William's decision. Buckingham Palace remained silent, but it was clear that William's choice had sparked significant reflection behind the scenes. Camilla respected his decision, understanding that some emotional wounds required time and space to heal. King Charles navigated the situation carefully, balancing his support for his son with an acknowledgement of Camilla's role within the royal family. In 2024, the Diana Award continued to expand globally, with William's genuine commitment to his mother's legacy at the forefront. Many young recipients spoke of how William's actions had inspired them. By the time 2025 approached, it was evident that William's leadership style was reshaping public expectations. His actions showed that emotional openness could coexist with tradition, transforming the monarchy's image and paving the way for a future that was both compassionate and emotionally honest.